All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, the D-Day to the commencement of the nationwide protest draws nearer, and this administration continues to try every means to prevent that protest. Every means except doing the right things that can generally reduce hardship in Nigeria. Millions of naira have been flying around for the past few days, and they are all going into the hands of few individuals whom the government believe can convince the majority not to protest. And even if they are not able to convince the people to back down, which is most likely going to be the case, they will have no option than to back government if the government unleashes violence on protesters come August, having taken bribe from them. Now, the violence part I stated here is just my own assumption, but it is a very big possibility. It can't be ruled out totally. Yet, the power of the people remains supreme, but only if they can stick together. The level of panic and apparent fear in the APC camp right now says it all. Tinubu and Shettima have been running from pillar to post ever since the preparations for this protest began, to the point that they have started contacting foreign imams, foreign clerics, to convince young people not to protest. This came shortly after international communities began to predict that there might be serious chaos in Nigeria as a result of the protest coming up in August. Before I show you the paid foreign cleric update, Shettima's mysterious plea to Nigerians, and the position of international communities on the upcoming protest, let me quickly show you this video.
Protest continues. You cannot pull out of a protest that you did not organize, that you were not invited to join.
Right.
And these are just hungry people who are being paid by the government to come on air and embarrass themselves and their families. You know, so nobody's Nigerians.
What makes you think they are being paid by government?
Of course, the government is sharing billions. I've been sharing billions in the last 3 weeks to different groups, religious people, and all kinds of people, trying to get people to frustrate their protest. But you're going to see what's going to happen all over the country on the 1st of August. The government is going to learn a bitter lesson about taking the people of Nigeria for granted.
Now, that exactly is what the government is concerned about, and those who are dissociating themselves from this protest. When you say the government will see what will happen on the 1st of August, what exactly will happen?
You know, Nigerians are going to express themselves in line with Section 40 of the Constitution, that Nigerians have the right to assemble, to gather, and to express their grievances at government at all levels. You know, and this is an inalienable right of every citizen of this country. The government cannot tell people when to protest or how to complain about maladministration of the government, especially considering the fact that this president today was a perpetual protester. He's a man that has funded protests against government. He has always been in the opposition funding protests against government.
Yeah.
You know, and basically, because he has been doing it, I don't know how someone who has been funding protests no longer wants protests when he's now in the saddle of leadership. And because karma is the universal donor, you know, it must go round, because you funded protests against the Jonathan government in 2012 when over subsidy removal. Today you have removed subsidy, and today you do not want Nigerians to protest. And they've been calling groups for the past 3 weeks to the villa, to all kinds of places, to ministries, to give them money, to go and be organizing town hall meetings and all these things.
Has your group been invited?
Severally, we have. Severally.
Right.
We have declined. We have spoken to some people in government, and we have told them, we said, if you want this protest not to hold, remove fuel subsidy.
Okay.
Bring back fuel subsidy. If you want this protest not to hold, do ABC, things that will improve the life of people, not collect money, collect dollar from people in government, and you go on television and start embarrassing yourself.
You heard that. That was human rights activist Deji Adeyanju there, talking about the religious and traditional leaders, including some stakeholders and groups who have been bribed to say they are pulling out of the upcoming nationwide protest. One thing is clear, this protest is against bad governance in Nigeria. And bad governance in Nigeria is a menace that affects at least 200 million people in this country. So how many people is the government going to bribe? It all depends on the people. That's what I've been saying. If we are hungry enough, If we are truly suffering, then bribing even 10,000 Nigerians can't even move this protest an inch. And that is why the government is panicking. We can see them clearly panicking. And talking about panic, APC and Tinubu have contracted a Muslim cleric from Sudan to persuade Nigerian youths not to protest. Before I show you that update and how protesters reacted, let me quickly show you this mysterious plea from Shettima to protesters. Look at how the papers reported it. Nigerians can start protests, but they don't know where it will end. Shettima reacts to end bad governance in Nigeria rally. The Bola Tinubu-led Nigerian government has again urged the citizens to shelve the planned protest against bad governance in the country. This time, the appeal was made by Kashim Shettima while speaking at a high-level meeting at the presidential villa, Abuja. Shettima acknowledged the hardship faced by Nigerians, especially after removal of petrol subsidies. He, however, emphasized the need for constructive action over protest. This is the time for us to solve our problems, not to protest. The right to protest is guaranteed in most democracies around the world. But when you can start the agitation and you don't know where it will end, it is a road to anarchy, he said. He stated that benefits will start coming from the fuel subsidy removal soon. We appreciate what Nigerians are going through, and our heart goes out to them. The oil subsidy has been an albatross on our neck for 50 years. Once the harvest start coming, we believe it will have a positive effect on the common man. I wish to call on you to advocate for diplomacy, engagement, and patience. Tinubu is very much committed to the Nigerian project, but it is like a percolation project. Now, that was Shettima there speaking. He said you can start the protest, but you don't know where it will end. This statement is very mysterious. What does it mean by you don't know where it will end? Is there something you plan that you are not telling Nigerians? And look at how Nigerians reacted. Look at some of the tweet reactions. This tweet by Lami Lekon says, it will end well if it is not hijacked by your political thugs. That is what you do. The people will be expressing their minds peacefully, and then the government will send thugs. And this tweet by KIA Abidoye says, if you don't want protest, then end bad governance, stop corruption, hunger, abuse of power, and recklessness. Follow constitutionalism and make significant reforms on electoral reforms, judiciary, and the economy. That is it. These are patriotic things to demand. How should this bring violence? Every single demand I have seen being put out by potential protesters are all very democratic demands that every patriotic citizen would welcome. They can never bring violence. Violence only comes when men in power decide to be anti-democratic and anti-people, and they refuse to implement the people's demands. And instead, they start sending out security forces to go and forcefully disperse the people. Let us not do that. Let us be democratic. Democracy is a government of the people. So listen to what the people want, and there will be peace everywhere. The reasons why some people are panicking is because they don't have plans to do the things that the people demand. They don't have plans to make life easier for the people. That is just the reason. Point blank, period. Now, talking about panic, let us look at how APC and Tinubu contracted this Muslim cleric from Sudan, and he began telling Nigerian youths to back out of the protest. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: nothing good will come out of your protest. Sudanese cleric warns Nigerians. A Sudanese cleric, Ambassador Al-Mustafa Bala, has cautioned Nigerians, particularly youths, against embarking on protest over economic hardship, saying nothing positive will come out of it. The government, religious leaders, traditional rulers, among others, have appealed to young persons to have a rethink on the protest, but they have insisted to go ahead. Weighing in on the situation during the pre-Huduba sermon at the famous Sultan Bello Mosque, Kaduna, the cleric cautioned the youths not to give room to enemies of the country to destroy Nigeria. He took about 20 minutes sharing his experience as a Sudanese citizen about what happened before and after the protest that led to war in his country. He said, Nigerians need to learn from Sudan's experience. To avoid bloodshed or any action that could lead to the destruction of peace, he listed Egypt, Syria, Yemen, Libya, and Sudan as countries which suffered destruction from what started as peaceful protests. Before they started talking about the planned protest in Nigeria, it happened in some Muslim countries like Syria, Libya, Tunisia, Yemen, and Sudan. I'm a Sudanese citizen, and what happened in Sudan was the same thing that happened in other Muslim countries. When I heard about the planned protest in Nigeria, I felt as a Muslim I should share the experience of what I saw in Sudan and what happened in other Muslim countries. Economic hardship was responsible for all the protests witnessed in those countries. That was what led people to protest in Sudan, thinking a solution would come through protest. Those that started were Sudanese citizens in an attempt to draw the attention of the government to end their hardship. But the opposition groups that were against the government penetrated them because every government has opposition. This was what led to the chaos in the country. Some foreign countries also took advantage of the protest and came into the country. They were the ones sponsoring these youths and supporting them. This led to regime change in the country. But despite that, there was no peace in the country. Well, Malam, the first thing I want to tell you is that Nigeria is not a Muslim country. So all those Egypt, Yemen, and Sudan you are talking about, we are different from them. You cannot just bring that script and come and drop it here. Okay, now what is the solution? The people have cried and cried. They are not listening to them. You say protest, agitation is not the solution. Then what is the solution? And look at how Nigerians reacted. Look at some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Diron says, this one too don't collect money. Were. I'm telling you, they bribed him to come all the way from Sudan and come and talk rubbish here. And this tweet here by Agbalaka says, is this how far the Tinubu's palliative has reached? I'm telling you, the palliative has reached Sudan. And Olu Adamilaye responded. He said, Walai. And Lamido here says, I coax. He's also asking if the palliative has gone this far, that this guy had to come from Sudan to come and support Nigerian government. And this Simi here says, Babahan don't reach Sudan. Oh, and Dare Oladipupo says, what is his business about Nigeria? Is he senior special advisor on national protest? Help me ask Amu. And Akinla Omoshut says international PR. That's exactly what the man is doing. And finally, Britain warns its citizens about traveling to Nigeria because of the upcoming protest. Look at how the papers reported it. Protest. Britain warns citizens against traveling to Nigeria. Britain's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, issued a travel advisory on Friday, warning citizens against traveling to several parts of Nigeria, including the border with Niger Republic, amid planned nationwide protests. The FCDO is responsible for advising British nationals about the risks of traveling to different countries, helping them make informed travel decisions. In the advisory published on the UK government's website, the FCDO based its alert on the upcoming End Bad Governance nationwide protest set to begin in Nigeria on August 1, 2024, which is already gaining momentum. The FCDO's latest update read, new information as of July 26 indicates that widespread public demonstrations are a possibility across Nigeria and advised British citizens to research their destinations thoroughly before traveling. The FCDO identified some states in 5 of Nigeria's 6 regions where the nationwide protest may pose risks. It advised citizens to avoid these states and warned that your travel insurance could be invalidated if you travel against FCDO advice. And so it begins. Foreigners are beginning to pay attention. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.